Hello, everybody. Coming live to you from the Triple R performance space. Thank you to everybody for coming. Are we excited to see Peaches? I'm so glad you responded like that. Before we introduce our very special guest, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations as the traditional owners of the land upon which we're gathered, and I pay my deepest respects to elders both past and present. Sovereignty has never been ceded. I also thought you may have, I'm sure you all know this already, and if you're tuned in on your radio, possibly you already know through the song we just heard. I thought I should jump in and say, for any folks who are particularly sensitive when it comes to sexually explicit language, or if you're not quite ready to have that talk with your little ones listening to the radio yet, maybe flip over to another station for the next hour, or listen back via radio on demand over at rrr.org.au, because we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. But who knows? Maybe it's a great time to have that conversation with your kid. I'll leave that up to you. But on to the main event. For the next hour, we're going to be speaking with someone who has been bringing her wild, fearless, slimy sometimes, and positively transgressive art pop to us for the last 16 years, since gracing us with the Teachers of Peaches at the turn of the millennium, in fact. And there's been 4 more albums since then, with her latest album, Rub, coming to us late last year after a 6-year break. Over the weekend, she played Meredith Music Festival. I was there. That's why my voice sounds a little bit different today. It was great. But yeah, last night she played 170 Russell as well. She'll be heading back there again tomorrow night. I believe there's a small number of tickets left, actually. So don't waste any more time if you haven't got them already. And speaking of wasting any more of your time, how about I stop doing that and welcome our guest up onto the stage. Please put your hands together for Peaches. G'day.
So, if you have problems, with sexually explicit language, you should stay. You shouldn't go.
These guys, I know they'll be fine with it. We just like to tell people to change the channel, but I feel like
No,
nobody
keep
does.
the channel on.
Okay,
keep it on.
Keep it. If
And
Peaches
also-
says so, then do it.
And also, sex positive. What is that? Why wouldn't you be sex positive?
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
It's such a weird term, don't you think? I'm sex positive. I'm sex negative.
Sex negative. So I can't speak for last night's show, but if it was anything like your Meredith Music Festival set, then I can safely assume that it went off.
Yeah, Meredith was special, though, must
Was
say.
it?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I thought it was, but why do you think it was?
Because people were just up for it. They were really having it, and they expressed themselves.
Absolutely. I think I expressed myself a bit too much. Tell me what kind of work goes into planning a performance like what we saw at Meredith, because it's you and your 2 dancers. It's a lot of costume changes and a lot of energy. How long does it take to conceive and realise that kind of live element of your music?
Well, it's kind of an evolutionary process, and it started last year in Australia, actually, when I met Jess and Anthony Cleve for the first tour, and we were flipping out. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Ah! But they had arrived with vagina costumes made, so that was a good start. And I had arrived with my own set of things, and then we just kind of put it together, fumbled through the first couple shows, and there was an evolution, and then it becomes a show, sort of like the same show with always elements of spontaneity involved in it. And then halfway through the tour, we decided to actively change it, fumbled through that new change, and this is the show that you see now, the set show, with, again, elements of spontaneity.
And
always raw.
Always very raw, I would agree with that.
Like my voice today, raw.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat. And at the risk of ruining it for anybody who hasn't seen you perform on the Rub tour, but there are photos of this during the round, so I suppose it wouldn't be that hard to find out. It's fair to say that the pièce de résistance is the giant inflatable penis that you crawl inside while singing the song "Dick in the Air."
Yeah.
Did that idea come
It's
to
pretty
you?
good. I'll tell you exactly how that idea came. Yeah, that again, right? That old thing. You want to say that again? No, you like saying it. All right.
Yeah, you say it great.
And giant inflatable penis. I can't do it like that. Anyway, so I was in an art space in Berlin watching a boxing chess match. Have you ever watched any of those? It's like two guys box for 3 minutes, and then they play chess for 3 minutes. And then they box for 3 minutes, and then they play chess. And by the third round of chess, you're just like, they don't have brains left because they've been beating on each other's brain. And it's really agonizing. And I couldn't watch the rest of it. But this tiny Italian guy came up to me and whispered in my ear, "Peaches, I have a big dick for you." No kidding. In the middle of the show, he's just like, "I have a big dick for you." And I was like, as you do. And so I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, I'm an artist, Plastic Fantastics, and I do public art with inflatables, and we use a lot of tubes. And I have this idea that I think one of my tubes could go over the audience, and you could, walk through it because it has a zipper that we usually use as tubes to get from one area to another. So it just was sort of him whispering in my ear this sweet little message, and it became...
That's the next logical step.
And the great part of it is now I have 4 of them, 4 dicks.
Do you travel with all 4, or...?
No, I don't. I leave some at home for safety. But I have an 8 meter, 10 meter, 11 meter, and a 20 meter.
So what do we have at Meredith? Do we go full throttle?
We have the 11 because of
I'm a bit
luggage
offended.
allowance. I'm sorry, your penis is too big. You can't bring it under this plane.
I reckon maybe Wayne Coyne should ditch the bubble and get himself
No.
a giant
I've talked to
inflatable
Wayne
cock.
Coyne about
what does he
this,
think?
and my dream is to get Diplo in his sphere, Wayne Coyne in his, and they're my balls, and I'm the dick. So they're just like in the balls, running like hamsters, and I'm like shooting out there in the dick.
I would really like to see that. I think you should follow through on that.
Yeah.
Is it true that the first time you whipped that out, so to speak, at a show was on your 50th birthday recently? Was it
that's
ceremonious?
a good myth. No, but that's a good myth.
Somebody I did definitely read.
People
read
like
that
to
somewhere.
say things, don't they?
They do. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad I checked.
No, we tested it in maybe like 2 or 2.5 years ago at a show in Wrocław in Poland.
Great. Well, going back.
See, that story isn't as good. So maybe I did whip it out the first time. Maybe you just wanted to bring up my 50th birthday.
No, I honestly did read that somewhere, but I'm glad I checked. Going back to the song "Dick in the Air," though, which I am a fan of. In the music video for that song, you are with the comedian Margaret Cho.
Margaret Cho.
Woo! A legend. You guys get up to all kinds of trouble. You're dressed kind of like explicit Teletubbies.
Yeah, I feel.
think.
Yeah, did
that
you
the
read that
concept?
or?
No, I thought that.
Yeah, no. When I watched it, I'm like, we just look like drugged out, weird, fucked up Teletubbies. It's perfect. It's kind of what Teletubbies really are.
How did Margaret Cho become a part of the picture?
Well, Margaret's been a fan and has come to a lot of shows, and we've kept in touch, and we became friends. And when the album came out, I sent it to her, and I said, would you like to be in a video? Pick a song. And she picked Dick in the Air. And coinciding with that was a friend of mine who acquired these sweater nude suits that were supposed to be multi-racial. So there was the yellow suit, for the Asians. And, you know, there was a brown suit. There was, and also they were dealing with stereotypes. The Asian suit had the longest penis, and the brown suit had a very small penis. There was also a redhead. There was also the older Caucasian male and female with sagging boobs and sagging balls. And then there was the young, virile Caucasian. So it kind of had a... So when she picked that video, and then I said, we should really, like, just dive into these stereotypes. Would you like to wear the yellow suit? And I would like to wear the male, saggy balls, gray, pubic-haired suit.
And so were you kind of, I guess, driving all everything that you guys were getting up to in that video, or is Margaret like coming up with ideas and like? Oh,
both of us just, got together at lunch and was like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And I had spotted a bunch of locations I wanted to use, ones that would match my skin color. Pink so I could hide from her and she could look for me in a few locations around East LA. And also at the beginning of the video, have you seen the video? Yeah, one person has.
If you haven't.
How many people have seen the video? All right, 2 people. Yep. Anyway, when you watch it, you'll see at the beginning we find the suits in front of a house, and nobody realizes this, but that was the house that Thriller was filmed at.
No.
Yeah, that's why we went there.
Wow.
Isn't that fun? That's like things that happen in LA. You go to the Thriller house.
And so, I guess you've collaborated with like so many people over the course of your career.
Yeah, it's funny that Margaret Cho has showed up in like 5 videos now too.
Yeah.
So like the concept for these videos was that they would be loosely related in ways that you would see the same people in them, or some of the same costumes, and some of the same people or characters, or so. That's basically as far as the concept goes.
You've collaborated with a whole lot of people over the course of your career. Is there anybody that you haven't yet that you're like, God damn, I would just really love to work with them?
Well, I'll never collaborate with Prince or David Bowie.
I was going to ask you about that too. It's been, I was imagining between those guys and Alan Vega, it's really been a year.
Yeah, Alan Vega I have collaborated with. I've covered Johnny, and we've met on many occasions, and really sad to see him go. And also I got to sing Frankie Teardrop on stage with Suicide one night, which was a thrill.
Wow. Are you? Have you been a lifelong Prince fan? Your hair's looking a little bit Prince-like today, actually. Yeah.
It's just the coils. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I have. Yeah, definitely. I mean, just brilliant. No one could play a solo, sing a higher note, and dance in high heels like Prince. Just like the ultimate blurring of everything musical performance and gender related, just all of it, like beyond even the symbol that is the name of Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince, which came back to Prince.
There are some similarities, I guess, in what you guys do in terms of sort of playing with gender fluidity, and a lot of the themes in your music as well. I was thinking on the way here, I read a piece from the Australian music writer Amon Crawford in the Monthly, where she said she was talking about Prince, and she said when he died she would listen to "I Would Die For You" on repeat.
Yeah.
And but how she loves how he says stuff like "I would die for you, darling."
I'm not your lover. I'm not your man. I'm something that you'll never understand.
Great.
So he's had some great lines of just really blurring. He had one line which is like, "Let a woman be a woman and a man be a man," which is whatever. So I remember I wrote a song that said, "Let a woman be a man and a man can." It's kind of my ode to Prince.
What Adam was saying that she said something. Yeah, I think he said, "I would die for you, darling, if you want me to," and that's she liked how he always asked for permission in his songs.
Yeah,
so polite and also very
so
sexy.
Passionate.
Yeah. Well, we're going to quickly cut to a track. I feel like I spoke heaps about Dick in the Air in that last segment. So let's hear Dick in the Air, and we'll come back and chat to Peaches. You're listening to Maps on Triple R.
Dick in the air, let me see you put your dick in the air. Dick in the air, let me see you put your...
And we are with none other than Peaches herself here
Hello.
for the Australian tour for her latest album, Rub. Peaches,
That's me.
you went 6 years without releasing an album before you dropped Rub at the end of last year. But I know you were busy doing a lot of other things, which we'll get onto in a moment. But was there a reason why there was that bigger break between releasing albums this time?
Well, I had made 4 albums, and usually it takes a year to make an album and then 2 years to tour it. So after 4 albums, there's 12 years gone. So I was like, am I going to do another album? And, and I thought I should just take a little break or do something different. I wasn't feeling super inspired. So, I mean, my last album was 2009, and then I toured it till like the beginning of 2011, So, and a theater had asked me to do projects, a theater in Berlin. And so I ended up doing 3 different productions there.
Which I will ask you about in just a moment. But I wanted to ask about the album Rub a little bit. You've described it as an album that kind of moves back towards the OG Peaches of yore. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I just felt like it was, in the way that Teachers of Peaches was just really stripped down musically and all out, message-wise, which I think all the albums are. But it was just in the essence of it, and I wanted to just make the most hardcore album I could.
We were talking before a little bit about Prince and David Bowie, and there's heaps of other examples of this, but I was wondering if you relate to the kind of pop star who kind of reinvents themselves for every album in whatever way that is.
I never find if you're relating it to me, I never find what I do very calculated, actually. Things have been quite organic, so I don't really go like, okay, this album I'm going to be blah, blah, or whatever, So I kind of feel like it's just a progression.
I was, when I was thinking of asking that question before, I was thinking about your song I Feel Cream, which I think kind of has a Kylie Minogue vibe to it. And perhaps she's a bit of a chameleonic pop star. Maybe that's, anyway, where that question came from. But back to Rub, there's a lot of collaborations, as we mentioned, especially happening on this album, not just in the songs, but in the videos as well. The opening track is, of course, Close Up with Kim Gordon.
Yeah.
What is how did you and Kim come to meet? And
well, I first met Kim through Sonic Youth when they asked me to join a festival that they were curating. So I met Kim there, and we hung out and talked. And I'd seen her through the years. And then I think she was starting, I made the album Rub in LA. So she was starting to hang out there more. And she's good friends with my collaborator on this album, Vice Cooler. So she came over and we asked her if she wanted to try a track. And she just killed it. She just walked in the room, put on headphones, and sang the hook right away. And it was just like, this isn't your type of music. You're not warmed up or anything. It doesn't matter. She's just doesn't give a shit. It's just like, I'm in. If I'm in, I'm in,
It works incredibly well.
Yeah, and it was nice, it's kind of like, it's cool because she's kind of like, how they have that track Cool Thing? You guys know that track? What's that? Yeah, and who says that? No, yeah, but who's she has a collaborator on that track. Can anybody?
Anyone?
Yes. So she's like, what? Oh, I know who that is. Okay, so so she's kind of like my Chuck D on the track,
I like it. And that video, I'm just obsessed with all the videos from Rub, like so far, by the way.
Well, with Close Up, you know, I keep saying LA, I'm living in Berlin, but at the time, I was also very involved with this burlesque wrestling group called Lucha Vavoom, where they do it like 4 times a year, and my 2 good friends, they run it, and what they do is that it's kind of like the chess boxing thing. I see a pattern. They do like a burlesque number, and then they do a wrestling, a lucha libre wrestling match, and it goes on that way. And sometimes they also have like guest musicians. So I've guested in their shows a few times. And for Close Up, has anybody seen that video?
Yeah.
All right, 4. So we borrowed their wrestlers and the actual wrestling ring that they used to make the close-up video, which was sort of like my Rocky video.
Kim is kind of like, she plays the role of your mentor, I guess, or your coach.
Disenfranchised coach.
Yeah. Is there any truth to? Was there like any sort of mentor relationship there, coach relationship in real life?
More like we just had some good conversations about life than anything. Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, she's vaping in the video. Does she love to vape, or was that just for the video?
I don't think she'd ever vaped. I was just thinking about the cigar smoking, coach. Come on, so we thought, let's do an updated version where it's with the vape, and she cares more about the vape and if it's working than like if I'm doing well.
I read somewhere that in terms of writing and recording the album, I think you were talking about your friendship with Kim Gordon, but I think you also mentioned Björk in terms of writing the album in the throes of a breakup.
Yeah.
Did that have an effect on the songs that you were writing?
Yeah, it was like in the middle of writing it, so then the shit got dark, and that's why we get songs like Free Drink Ticket.
I love that song.
Yeah, which to me is the most poetic song I've ever written, and it's very quite vulnerable, but also quite hurtful, but obviously in the throes of vulnerability. So I wrote that one really fast, actually, in the studio of Jam Roll from Planning to Rock. Any Planning to Rock fans here? Yes, 2. Cool. So I was really kind of shooken up from the breakup, and I went into her studio, and I'm like, could you just leave the room for a second? I'm just going to like say a bunch of stuff. And then I came back in, Jam Roll came back in and pitched my voice down, and then it just sounded really scary and relevant. So I just did a little bit of editing, but basically that was just written like pure anger.
I think a lot of people say about your music that there is this intense honesty in what you're saying and doing. Do you think that there is a vulnerability to what you do? I guess following on from talking about Free Drink Ticket.
Sure. I think people are of many opinions about what I do. Some people find it completely absurd. Some people find it honest. Some people find it pornographic. Some people find it very political. So some people find it angry. Some people find it comedic. To me, that means that I'm just doing a direct line, and you just see where everybody's at with what they say.
But there certainly is a place for humor in your work, though. Like looking at the video for Close Up. Yeah. No, I think humor is very important, especially if you're trying to relay a very serious message, because I don't want people to feel threatened. I want them to feel included. I'm not interested in threatening people. I'm interested in bringing them in. So also music is a way of having people, dance and sing along, and then later on go, what am I singing along with? Oh my God, what did I say? Oh wait, let me think about that. But I came through that because of the music that I grew up to that was completely misogynist, especially like, classic rock music that I was like, enjoying. And then I was like, what am I singing along? Spread Your Wings, My Virgin Child? What am I singing? I think I was thinking when I was watching you at Meredith that there is though some sort of classic rock influence in what you're doing, like the posturing and your strong stance on the stage. Like I'm seeing a lot of that.
I liked that there were a lot of topless women in the way that in the like 80s stadium rock for guy groups you'd see them all topless, but it was for me, so yeah. It was fun.
We're going to cut to another quick track. I feel like we've been chatting about Close Up a little bit, so I reckon it's time for us to hear Close Up by Peaches featuring Kim Gordon, the opening track from Peaches' most recent album, Rub.
Look to the right, look to the right. Let me get a close up, let me get a close up. Look to the right, look to the right.
Got a very enthusiastic audience today, and I'm very happy about that.
Me too.
So we spoke a little bit before about your album Rub came out after a 6-year gap between albums, but it's not as if you weren't busy. One of the things that you were doing was Peaches Does Herself, your electro rock opera that tells a mythical story about you and your life.
Yeah.
You've described it as an anti-jukebox musical. Mm-hmm. Why is that something you wanted to do?
Well, jukebox musicals are when they take the music of, let's say, Freddie Mercury or ABBA, and then they make a whole different storyline that has nothing to do with where the music comes from. And to me, it's more interesting to find out where the music comes from, and you could have made an amazing, musical. But I guess things changed since I've done that, where they've focused more on using the music to tell the story of the actual musician or whatever. But that's not very interesting. But I wanted to be a theater director when I first entered college, and I went into a director's program, and there was only 7 of us accepted, and I was like, I want to make cool musicals, and everybody's like, ugh, cool musicals, I want to make real work, whatever. And then I started to get pissed off with the actors, and then I started to get headaches with all this bureaucracy and everything, so I quit and just started to, I finished university, but doing more just like general different kinds of arts. I took visual arts for the first time, or media arts, and blah, 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 and just, explored stuff and actually happened upon music and realized that is a better way to become your own director and your own writer and your own performer and everything. So I was like, I can get everything I want out of music that I wanted in theater, and it's a more immediate approach. Sometimes theater loses that bit of immediacy or rawness that I'm always looking for. But then when this theater asked me to do a production, I ended up doing that cool musical that I'd always wanted to do, using the research I had made, which was me being Peaches for the last, 10 years at that point. So, so it all came together for me. And then that turned into a movie. And thank you. It turned into a movie. I know I'm a motor mouth, but it turned into a movie, and it went to like 70 festivals around the world. I think it came to Australia too. So that was pretty exciting, and that took up doing the stage show took up 6 months, and then traveling with the movie and editing it and the color correction was the worst because it was from a stage show and all different, so that took up a lot of time.
How did you come up with the storyline of the fabricated kind of life of Peaches?
I wanted to, believe it or not, be more over the top than my live shows because I had a chance to have a real budget with real set pieces and 8 dancers and other characters that I could use as my muse or my foil and things like that. So what I did is I took 23 songs from my 4 albums that I had made and made a sort of narrative using them. But the reason why it's called electro rock opera is because the story is told through the music. There's actually no dialogue. Yeah.
I was just thinking you were saying about jukebox musicals and how you don't like them. I heard about I was talking with someone about them the other day, and they told me there's a Green Day one called American Idiot.
Yeah.
Did anybody know that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. And I think I don't know if they're involved in it or not, but yeah, it's been around for a while.
Anyway, I think there's quite a lot, but nothing like Peaches does herself. And so sort of along similar lines, you're actually going to be performing your Peaches Christ Superstar at Mona in Hobart on the 19th of January. Anyone going along?
Come on
lucky.
down. Come to Hobart.
Yeah.
Mona Homa.
So for anyone who doesn't know, that's where Peaches performs the entirety of Jesus Christ Superstar, singing all the parts herself, accompanied by nothing but a piano.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that something you wanted to do for like a really long time?
Yeah, I mean, people of my generation, when they grew up, that album came out, or maybe, I don't know, around that time. And it was seen more as an album. And I think people took to it more as a rock album that you listen to the whole album rather than a big cheesy musical, you know? So when I think about it, when I was like 15, I just wanted to like sing all the parts in my bedroom. And since I've been doing this, singing the whole thing, so many people are like, I used to do that. I used to sit in my bedroom and sing the whole thing. It's like, it's kind of like this little dirty secret that people have that I'm like presenting to them in public.
And I believe there were some trials and tribulations in terms of actually securing the rights, though, from old mate Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, Andrew Lloyd Webber, I think it wasn't really anything to do with me, to be honest. It was just that he had this concept that he was going to make a stadium show out of Jesus Christ Superstar with like Johnny Lydon from the Sex Pistols as Herod, and I think it was one of the one of the Backstreet Boys was going to play Pilate, and then
wow, I wonder which one.
I forget. I feel bad that I don't know. No, I do. And then Michelle from Destiny's Child was going to play Mary, and I think it really flopped. They even had a show in England, right? Like Finding Jesus, like a sort of like Europe's, what's it called? Do you know the name of the show? I hear mumbling. Okay. No, like one of those, what are they, talent shows where you find the person who sings the best. So they were going to find Jesus. But I don't think that they were. I actually I wanted to go on that show, but I found out about it too late. But I think it all flopped. So then I got the rights.
Sick.
I also do it in Munich, in Germany. I'm part of a repertoire there. So when this season and next year's season, whenever I can do it.
Mm-hmm. Are there ever any people who rock up to Peaches Christ Superstar shows expecting like a regular Peaches gig?
Oh yeah.
And then they realize the tone is very different.
Well, what's interesting in Munich, they're like serious theater goers, and they don't clap between songs. They don't clap at all. So you're like, I am bombing. Oh my God, I'm bombing. You just start sweating more and everything. And they don't even clap like between Act 1 and Act 2. And then the show is finished and they all stand up and they cheer like crazy. And you're like, okay. And I remember doing a tour in America where they actually, before they hear like dun 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 dun, and they're like, oh my God, I love it! Ah! And they start screaming for the songs before, kind of like more in like this like these Japanese theater traditions where you like yell out the name of the person, who's performing and things like that. So it's actually quite a different response in different parts of the world, more than in a Peaches show where everybody's just kind of knows what to do. But
has their tops off.
Yeah. So there have been people, of course, I would say like 5% rock up with makeup and they're off their rockers and they go like, what the Jesus, Peaches? Oh my God, I'm out of here. They think I'm going to be ironic. I sing the whole thing straight. Like it's not, it's not about changing it. It's just about presenting it as is. And I sing the shit out of it.
If you were to do a, you mentioned that it's something you've wanted to do since you were younger. If you were to do a Peaches Christ Superstar type performance again, but a different one, do you know what's your second choice?
No, it's not. It's not a question of that. It's not a question of that. It's like that.
This was it.
Yeah, it's also the subject matter. Like, it's just a good human interest story. It's kind of like if you strip away. If you strip away all the religious parts of it, it's also just like you think about somebody with a good idea, a good humanitarian idea, and how they get shit on, and how people start to get scared of a new idea. Does this sound familiar at all? And then they start to ostracize that person and become closed in their little ways. So it happens all the time, and obviously politics and social circles. From bullying in the playground to Trumpism.
Rolling up on attitude and puffing my chest. Going out, yeah, haven't seen the worst of me yet.
We are in the live performance space with Peaches.
I got a question.
Yeah.
How come the show's called Maps?
Anyone?
Is it?
I don't actually know.
Is it from the Yeah 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 song?
That's what I thought. It's not. That's not the theme song of the show. But
what
I
is the theme song? Is it something to do with maps?
I don't actually know.
Oh.
Any Triple R people? Named after the song?
It is? All right, that's good.
That's what
As
I
it
thought
should
too.
be. It's a good song.
Also, maps are great. They tell you where to go. And,
yeah, I was just, relating it to music.
And following the song that we just heard, Rub, title track from the latest album, I'm obsessed with some of these videos, and this one in particular is, it's pretty memorable. Directed by A.L. Steiner. There's
It's directed by A.L. Steiner, Peaches, and Lex Vaughn. You want me to just talk?
Do it.
All right. So I have a friend, and she sailed from France to the Caribbean in a boat with 3 other people. And then she showed up at my house in L.A. And I was already like, how did you do that? And she told me that she, in Paris, her and her friends would get on the roof of their house and have contests squirting. And I was like, first of all, I can't squirt, so I'm already jealous. And this is like amazing. And wouldn't it be cool if a bunch of women would be squirting off rocks in Joshua Tree? So I was like, I want to make a video with women squirting off trees in Joshua Tree. I need to call it A.L. Steiner, because she had made this feminist porn movie called Community Action Film. So, and my friend Lex Vaughn, who's been a dear friend for a long time, who I just think is brilliant. And the 3 of us got together, and with Moira Moyle, who's a fantastic cinematographer, and another woman named Amy Von Harrington, who was like, I'll just hang around and I'll do art direction or whatever. She ended up editing. She ended up being like such an amazing force throughout the whole thing. But we just sat there and decided what kind of what would bring out besides women squirting off rocks. What could give that feeling of freedom and sexuality and breaking out of like I don't need to explain it to you guys, but breaking out of what you usually see. And I had this like sort of Jodorowsky vibe in my head where we all had certain performers that we wanted to feature in it. One being Danny Daniels, who appears in Peaches Does Herself. Narcissus Sister, who is a fantastic performance artist. Also, Malice, who is an incredible pole dancer working in Los Angeles. Courtney Troubles, who's made her own feminist porn, and her crew too. And then just a bunch of amazing women who wanted to join in.
Cinnamon Maxine? No.
What's that?
Cinnamon Maxine.
Cinnamon Maxine, it was also there, and April Flowers.
Awesome.
So it was just an incredible lineup of people who, and also other people were like, I want to come. And so they joined in. And then I had this idea that I wanted to make it an all-women cast and crew just to see what would happen. And it was incredible because when we got up to Joshua Tree with all-women cast and crew, and we had to take a big bus up there, so many of the crew were like, I've never been on an all-women crew before. And it was just a liberating feeling for them because they just never have. They've been working in the film industry. And so it was just a special moment for everybody, and we had a lot of fun.
I think, one thing I really like about...
Wait, has anybody seen the Rub video? Oh, that one you've seen. The one that was banned from YouTube. That's the one you've seen.
Oh, yeah, you have to go to Vimeo to see that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing I really like about the video, and I think you've communicated it pretty well, is that, it's nothing if not inclusive. Like, often you hear... like, oh, this cast is the cast and crew, women only, but it'll just be one kind of woman, like, just women with vaginas or just white women. You know what I mean? Like, but the video for Rub is positively kind of none of it. Women whose bodies all look the same.
Yeah. All right.
We're going to continue with this question. But the video for Rub, as I said, is positively none of those things. But how important was that to you in making the video and in all of your work?
That is
to
the
have
most
a sense of inclusivity.
Thing. Yeah, it's all about inclusivity. Not everybody gets it or gets my way, and that's fine because I don't get everybody's way either. So, this is my form. And what was incredible about the video is that I did no advertising whatsoever. I just literally put it on my Facebook page, and in 2 days there was 1 million views. I've never had that happen on YouTube, and then they took it down.
So rude of them.
It is rude because you can find a lot of other things that are not inclusive, that are much more offensive. So, but I'm very proud of that video. There's definitely an 80-minute version of that, and also the woman. It's just waiting. Like it could have gone on. I had to make the song longer to fit in everything. You're so involved in the video. I don't think anybody noticed that there's like probably 4 more choruses than there should be, and also there was our professional squirter. Who was coming had to cancel. So there was another just a beautiful human who told us she could squirt, and then when she got on top of the rocks, it was just too much for her. She's like, I've never done it in front of people. And then also she said, but could I be naked riding a white horse? So you see her at the end too, which was such a beautiful ending and perfect idea. So it was a lot of collaboration too, and very open, and just so thrilled how it turned out.
Well, we do have to kind of finish up soon, but I guess on that note, I might as well make my last question kind of related to that. I think, it goes without saying that in a lot of your music, your videos, your performances, there's a lot of bodies, there's a lot of genitalia, vaginas, clitorises. Your dancers have big vaginas on their heads, so do you. The giant inflatable dick. Not right now.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean that goes with the song "Vaginoplasty," which is also on the album, which was written because I read a statistic in England that vaginoplasty or labiaplasty was up 300% in young women. They wanted to change their vaginas because they were worried that guys wouldn't want to go down on the way their vagina looked, which is ridiculous because guys just want to get down there. They don't care what it looks like. They just want to get down there.
I wanted to ask, well, are you saying that we take our bodies too seriously or that we don't take them seriously enough?
We should take them very seriously in a way that we should be proud of them and enjoy them and have fun with it.
Do you think that's a good note to end this on? I do.
Yeah, there's a lot more to say. I mean, there's a lot of really sad stuff going on in the world with, abortion rights and laws on women's bodies, and it's very important for you to be aware of all of that and realize that it's totally unequal and that there is still a lot to fight for. And if you don't speak out, it'll get worse and worse. You're watching it get worse and worse, and you're the only ones who can make it better.
Let's hear it. Can I please get one big, massive round of applause for Peaches?
Thank you. Thank you. Very appreciated. Thank you so much.